Hey guys, before we start the video, I just want to say we have a brand new online shop right now on Shopee. It's called TCNKC Collectibles. The link is in the description, so if you want to find your toy cars or anime goods, please visit the shop and support the channel. Thanks guys! Greetings viewers, welcome back to Kenny Chan's channel aka 讲车载. Now, I know this has been long awaited. I have to apologize for waiting so long to finally make this review, but better late than never. So let me just give you a little bit of a background here as to why this review takes so long to actually for me to achieve. Well, mainly the reason it took me so long is because, well, the resale value here of this particular casting is a bit out of touch from when they first released, because as you guys probably know, I'm Malaysian, I stay in Malaysia, and we love this casting for obvious reasons, right? And when this casting was first launched, well, let's just say it caused a lot of frenzy, because originally this stuff it should be exposed to just us, the collectors, but somehow the news decided to spread this release as like wildfires or something like that. So a lot of people decided to, you know what, just step in and then buy just one car and done, just buy this one casting and then it's done for their collection. So without further ado, the topic of today is this: the long-awaited, for me to review, 1985 Proton Saga. So there's the name right here, the Proton Saga, and then there's the art right there. It was part of the series of Compact Kings, and because mine is an international card, it didn't really say anything else back here. Well, granted, there's a special thing over here. You see this Proton logo right here? That Proton logo? That Proton logo is the current Proton logo, and the one that features on the casting right here, or should I say in the picture, that logo is the original Proton logo back in 1985. So there's the card, and here's the card. Now, first thing you notice, why did I put some like very modern wheels on it? Well, granted, this car already made like the wheel swaps. I already did the wheel swaps. The original wheels are in this little plastic baggie right here, which I kept. So maybe one day I'll do it. I'll put these wheels on another car. But that's okay, you know, the car is still here, right? So let me just introduce you to the Proton Saga. So back in the late 70s, our country, basically Malaysia, decided to, you know what, our prime minister decided to starting to put some plans into having our own national car. And by around 83 or something like that, they already had the name, which is Proton, which stands for Perusahaan Automobil Nasional, which means National Automobile Company, kind of like that, something like that. So Proton, and then it was just launched in 1983, and then when they launched the name, now they had to bring out a model. So the car itself, the Proton Saga, was launched in 1985 in the initial guise of just being the sedan with the 1.3 liter engines or the 1.5 liter engines, but the very initial ones is 1.3, and the car was launched with a very great success. A lot of people really liked this car back in the day because it was cheap and because it was, you know, very innovative, and very, like, how can I say, good quality for the Proton Sagas of back then. And this car, well, when they launched it, they already launched on like a stage. Okay, they were launched it on the like a like a stage, and the one that rolls out to the stage, the first one, it was in white color, and then the second one that went onto the stage was this red, this particular red right here. So as far as I can tell, Hot Wheels usually what they will release, if the first color of your car is red, the next color typically should be white. So let's just see what happens next. For now, I have this red Saga right here, and then maybe let's see the next release, would it be white or not. And this car, when they first launched it, everybody liked it, like I said, and it was just basically swept everything else on the road, and a lot of the families decided to buy this car as their own family car, which I kind of get it, because well, personally I currently as an owner of the third generation Saga myself, but I can kind of see why the Saga is a really good car back in the day. And so this car, when it was first launched, the response is great, customers are very happy, and then there's a lot of aftermarket support out there. You can get a lot of different grills, bumpers, headlights, or maybe spoilers or accessories. So you can kind of tell by the quantity, the amount of different accessories you can apply on this car, just shows how popular this car is, really. And without further ado, let me just take a look at the model right here. So right off the bat, on the front, you can see the front grille right here. Now this is what we call the Saga Orion grille. Granted, on the model, on the card art, is actually not the really original Orion. It was the Magma, the model, which on the card, let me just show you the card right here. It goes all the way to the end, to the tail lights, which is not supposed to be like that. If it was a true Orion, it would be stopped right here. But on the diecast itself, because of the way they print these grills, it looks it just ends right beside the headlight, so it kind of looks like the Orion grill, which I'll give it a pass. I mean, it's at least we still get the Proton Saga as a diecast, right? So it is a very basic car, okay, because the real car itself, it was based on Mitsubishi Lancer Fiore, which is also a basic cheap roundabout car for people who want to buy a four-door sedan as their family car. Now, granted, the Lancer Fiore had its own fans, and I don't want to really say anything bad about it, but personally, I think the Saga looks slightly better, personally. So there you go. There's the details on the bumper. You can see the turn signals right there, and then the number plate molding is also there, and the grill itself, the bottom grill. So the number plate cutting right here, you can actually fit well, the Malaysian size plate decals on it, so you can just put any plates you desire. And onto the side right here, so classic 3-box design, you get your 4-door sedan, classic silhouette. It was so shocking to me when Hot Wheels decided they want to do a Saga, a Proton Saga release in Hot Wheels form, because I kid you not, back when I was a kid, I was kind of wishing every day to see Hot Wheels release something else Malaysian, like no matter whether it's a car or maybe something released related to Malaysian on the decal department or something like that. Never would have thought that one day I would see a Proton Saga in the Hot Wheels basic line. So here's me wishing right here that since we already have the Saga in the Hot Wheels basic line, I kind of wish to see the rest of the Proton range, where the models, the real car which made an impact in Proton history, I think they can do the diecast version of it, whether it will be the Satria GTI, the Satria Neo Rally car, or maybe they can do the Waja as well, or maybe I mean, if they did my personal third gen Saga, then yeah, I'll be very happy with that as well, definitely. So uh, on to the diecast, continue on to the diecast. So the wheels, I decided to swap it in this 5-spoke modern Real Rider wheels. Originally I was looking for that other Real Rider with the bigger tire profile, you know, the 5-spoke one, the one that people put on the Porsches, but no such luck. And I decided to use this wheel because, well, at least they are still simple 5 spokes for me, and from far away it still looks kinda okay, you know. And on the side right here, you can see the decals are very simple. You get your door trim tempo, the door lock also got tempo, and then you had your Hot Wheels logo at the front, Saga logo on at the back door right there. There's your fuel door, and the fuel door, if you own the Saga in real life, you know the fuel door only has that one bolt to hold it in. So if you can get your fuel door to line up perfectly with the body panel like this, you're the man, you know, you're the man. So the tail doesn't have any tempos on it, the rear. It was a pretty simple car to do add-on detail, so you can just add on the turn signal over here, and then the reverse lights is somewhere around like here. So yeah, it's a pretty simple car, pretty simple design. And then the impact of this Hot Wheels release, it was so huge around here in Malaysia that I can kind of describe it as like a phenomenon, because nobody would have thought that this would get released, let alone something like, you know, so significant to our national history. And since then, Hot Wheels also did that Trouble Decker bus with the Penang like tempo on the bus. That one is a reference to our nationals, like one of the states in our country, the states of Penang, which Hot Wheels factory, Mattel factory, is located in. And speaking of factory, yet again, it's a basic release, so it was made in Malaysia. Proton Saga, made in Malaysia, yes indeed. So it's just such a good looking casting, man. I had to say, personally, I have so many connections with the Proton Saga, no matter it's like this original one or maybe the later sagas or whatever. So my saga journey really started with my grandfather, who used to own one in like a rock blue, I believe it was called rock blue. It's basically like a dark blue, and then that car was a 1.5, I believe. It was a bit of a later saga. It's like an 89 or something like that. So it was a 1.5, and then it had a manual transmission. It was a sedan model just like this. So I have so much memory, like sitting in the backseat of my grandfather's Saga, and I just enjoy the moment of that, like the simple life back then, where I was sitting in the back as a little kid looking out the window while my grandfather was driving me back from school. And that's my very early first gen Saga memory. And then my dad also owned one for a very short period of time during I was born. That one I have a little bit less memory, because I didn't really know what I was doing back then, because I was too young. My grandfather's one I remember, because I was just sitting in the living room of my grandfather's house looking at this car, like this view right here. So I definitely know what that car is for sure. and then the later on, the saga memory for me is definitely the one that I borrowed to drive, the Iswara. And the Iswara, that one, sadly the car itself had already been sold to someone else, because for me that Iswara is actually one of a quite special model, because that one has the window controls, the power window controls on the door cards and not on the center console like other Proton Iswaras are. And speaking of Iswara, that one is also one of the first cars that I fall in love in terms of like the styling of it, because when I look at my parents' wedding video back then, we have VCDs. So when I was looking at that VCD, my parents basically friends crew, their cars, all of them are Proton Sagas or Iswaras, because back then the Iswaras were brand new and it was a very cheap car, so a lot of people buy it as their runabout car. So you can just see the lines of different variations of the Iswara going across the screen. So there was one roll by in San Jose Brown, and it was a sedan Iswara San Jose Brown, with that 13-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels, and then with no red reflectors on the rear. So that particular car triggers like my kind of car centric hobby. So that is the car that made me fall in love with the Proton Iswara, and eventually turns into my love for the Proton Saga as well, and which also in turn to make me own one of the later generation sagas myself. So for the BLM and the FLX generation, I don't really have a lot of memories with them, because I didn't driven any of them yet, so maybe one day I'll try it out. But for my third generation saga, if you are a constant viewer of my channel, you know that I own a third generation saga myself. It was an MC2 model rocking the MC1 wheels, which I still love even until nowadays. Like some people will say, oh, you hate your sagas for like a couple of months of usage, but for me, I think that car is really good for what it is, you know. So there's the saga history on my side. And so the saga itself, so the Proton Saga, like I said, it has been like evolved into different generations. So you have this saga, the Orion sedan, and then you have the aeroback version, the saga aeroback, which is like a liftback version of this saga right here. And then you had your magma engine version, you had your mega valve engine version, and then it was eventually replaced by the Proton Saga Iswara. Essentially, it's just a facelift of this generation saga. And then it was also in 2001, somewhere like that, 2002, it has also evolved into a saga limited edition one, the silver with the aeroback design. And then that was the one with the Altezza tail lights, and it was also, and then afterwards it was evolved into the LMST, which is the one with the Lotus inspired dashboard, the one that only comes with the manual transmission, and the one where it comes with the blast pipes. Yes, the one. So this I want to describe it as the Boxy Saga period. The Boxy Saga era ended in around 2006-2007 when Proton introduced us with the Saga BLM. And the BLM, it was a fine car, you know. I mean, there's still quite a lot of them running around on the road nowadays. And the BLM design, it was very, how can I say, of its day. It was very 2008, because the car itself, it looks like a weird combination of curves and straight lines or something like that. So that one, it didn't really stuck in my eyes personally. But the FL, which also the FL which was introduced in 2011, that was a facelift of the BLM. That one looks slightly better in my eyes, and in around 2014, I believe, 2014, Proton decided to introduce the Saga FLX. That one, they ditched the 4-speed automatic transmission with a CVT in the Saga FLX, and then they also had the FLX SE, and then they also had the Saga FLX in a 1.6 engine, guys. That 1.6 engine one is one of the rarest Sagas out there, so if anybody found it, it was available only in white with a red stripes going across the body. So if you can found it, then that's your luck. And then in 2016, they introduced the 3rd gen Saga, which is the Saga VVT. And the VVT version of the Saga initially features the CVT transmission. The CVT transmission itself, it's not really paired well enough to the engine of that 1.3 liter Campro engine. So it was quickly changed with an MC1 happened in 2019, when they ditched the CVT and then used the 480 back again, but this time it was supplied by Hyundai. And that particular batch of Saga, the MC1, features that very nice looking rim design, which I'm currently rocking on my car. Let's just say that particular gearbox is also not that well received in terms of like the maintenance wise. From my mechanic friends, he said that, well, that Hyundai gearbox is not that great either. So there's that. And then the final one, which is the current one, which is the MC2, and that is my car. So the MC2 Saga, that one is so good, so good. So yeah, that's the Saga history, and that's the very simple review of the Saga diecast, which I also give you a lot of history, because as a Malaysian, I felt like I had to make this car, I had to do this car a justice by talking about the histories and everything. So usually at this point, again, it was about the time where I have the companion piece. The trouble is, this is also one of those cars where I can't really find a companion piece to go with it. It's because, well, it is a boxy 80s 4-door saloon, which I don't have a very similar car at all. I have the R30, but that one is a 80s boxy 2-door coupe, so it's not a 4-door sedan. So yeah, it doesn't really go that well. But I mean, the Saga itself is already a really good looking car now, isn't it? So yeah, anyways, that's it for the review of this Proton Saga by Hot Wheels, which is essentially the 1985 Proton Saga by Hot Wheels. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel for more to come, and comment down below, what do you think of the Saga? Do you think the diecast itself is a very well representation of the Saga? And what do you wish to see Hot Wheels make in the future? You know, like whatever Proton you wish Hot Wheels would do. So yeah, that's it for the video. Stay tuned. Goodbye.